Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's top headlines. GM and Chrysler want billions more from the government. The UAW makes more concessions, and a sneak peek at some future products from Chrysler. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Wednesday, February 18, 2009, and now the news. Well, GM presented its viability plan to the government last night, and the details are brutal. It will lay off another 47,000 employees worldwide, on top of the cuts it's already made. About 21,000 of those jobs will be cut in the U.S. That will come from closing another 5 manufacturing plants, as well as getting rid of Hummer, Saturn, and Saab brands, and all the jobs that go with them. Pontiac will stay on as a niche brand. Astonishingly, GM even raised the specter that it may have to form partnerships with the German government and other European governments to make sure its European operations are sustainable. To pull this all off, GM is asking the U.S. government for $16.6 billion more than before, all because it now bases its plans on much lower sales forecasts for the industry. And the same goes for Chrysler. It's asking for $2 billion more than before because of the collapse in the car market. The company says that in addition to the steps it's taken, it will reduce fixed costs by $700 million more, cut another 3,000 jobs, take out 100,000 units of capacity, and sell $300 million in assets. The UAW agreed to cuts at GM, Chrysler, and Ford. The details are kind of hazy because they have to be voted on by the membership before the union will discuss them. But my sources tell me it will reduce the number of skilled tradespeople in UAW plants, and the Wall Street Journal reports it will include lower supplemental unemployment benefits. The union is still arguing over taking stock for its VIBA payments. Hey, hidden deep in the viability plan it submitted to Congress, Chrysler had pictures of its next generation 300 and Grand Cherokee and what they're going to look like. Autoblog is running these photos. The Grand Cherokee looks new and modern to me, but the 300 looks like a mild facelift on a car that's already been in the market for over 5 years. You know, the sky might be falling everywhere else, but not in Brazil. Nissan will eliminate 20,000 jobs globally by 2010, but WardsAuto.com reports the company will not be cutting anything from its operations in Brazil. 2 new products it has there are the new Frontier SUV in its joint venture plant with Renault and its flex fuel Leneva MVP. And in other Nissan news, the company claims its electric vehicle due late next year will have a 100-mile range running on pure battery power, and that's about 160 kilometers. The car will seat 5 and be about the same size as the Sentra or Versa, and will initially be made in Japan, but will also get built at its Tennessee plant in the future. And in other EV news, Ford received $55 million in tax credits through the Michigan Advanced Battery Credits. The law is designed to encourage companies to invest in electric vehicle engineering and automotive battery research in Michigan. Earlier this year, Ford announced it plans to bring 4 electric vehicles to market by 2012. And coming up next, it's time for You Said It.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
And now it's time for some of your feedback. This is You Said It. You know, every day we get lots of comments and questions from you, our viewers. You Said It gives me a chance to respond. And Joe Brooks from AccuShape Die Cutting writes in to say, we have suffered 18 customer bankruptcy. My question to you is, how can any of the automakers file for Chapter 11 since no one would likely loan them money in their current condition? If they could get that kind of financing, they would not have to go into bankruptcy in the first place. Good point, Joe. But the Obama administration has indicated it would provide what they call debtor-in-possession financing if GM or Chrysler has to go into Chapter 11 to restructure. And Tom Govro from Windsor, Ontario says, You know, I was kind of amused about the Hofmeister kink styling feature on BMW cars. Consider, if you will, the 1952 Nash Ambassador and later the 1956 basket handle AMC Rambler. I wouldn't be willing to say that this design feature started with Nash, but at least it was earlier than BMW. Tom, thanks for pointing that out. You're right, that kink did not start with BMW, but I guess they get credit for sticking with it for nearly half a century. And Tim Achterhoff, I think I got that right, from RC Productions wrote in to say, as I was driving to work this morning in single-digit Michigan temps, I wondered where the interior heat would come from in an electric car. Maybe a propane heater? I guess they don't worry about those problems in California. Well, Tom, it actually can get pretty cold in lots of places in California. But to answer your question, it will use an electric heater. But the beauty of it is, you can warm up your plug-in while it's still plugged in. That way the batteries don't have to take a big hit to heat up the car, and the same goes for the air conditioning. Hey, don't forget this week that you can enter for your chance to win this book on 30 years of history of Ital design and Giorgetto Giugiaro. All you have to do is sign up for our free email newsletter. I'll be picking the winner Friday on Autoline Daily, so sign up today. And remember that tomorrow we have our live webcast at noon discussing all the details about GM and Chrysler's viability plans. You can join the discussion with my panel of experts tomorrow at noon Eastern Time and 1700 hours GMT. That wraps up today's show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Visit our website for even more great content all week long. Autoline Extra, Dawn's Journal, podcasts, and even more. So click over and get the inside view at AutolineDetroit.tv.